My seventh OCD beating tip is to not worry about themes. There are a lot of different themes of OCD, and I don't even think I can list all of them. There's pure O, HOCD, harm OCD, POCD, contamination OCD, banana OCD, depersonalization OCD, schizophrenia OCD. There's so many more. When somebody's talking about OCD and they start to talk about their theme, I kind of tune out that part, so I'm forgetting them now. There are two reasons why I think you should ignore this idea of themes on the road to recovery from OCD. The first reason is that it can actually be a barrier to getting proper treatment. This is maybe a smaller of the two reasons, but I have heard enough stories of people going to get treatment, and because they've been active in OCD communities online or in the public before they go to get treatment, because as we tend to do, we push it off, we're anxious, we don't want to be stigmatized with having a mental illness, so it gets worse and worse and worse. They've been very involved in these online communities and they've learned about themes, then they go to see a psychologist who might be a great psychologist but who's never heard of themes, because these themes, the names for them emerge within these communities, and that person will insist on getting treatment for their pure O, for instance. And the psychologist who maybe is great at cognitive behavioral therapy and totally knows how to treat OCD isn't going to know about this theme of OCD, and that patient's going to keep on insisting on getting treatment for that form of OCD when really the treatment works for all forms of OCD or all themes, and they may walk away. I've heard this story several times now where someone has left treatment because they said, oh, my psychologist didn't understand my theme of OCD. So that's one reason why themes can become a barrier to treatment, because they actually make people think they can't get the treatment they need because they've invented this label, stuck it to their OCD, and now they're searching only for treatment that will deal with that imaginary label. The second reason why OCD themes become a barrier for people in recovery from OCD is that people will often start to focus on the symptoms instead of going after tackling the core underlying causes of OCD and that underlying fear of uncertainty. At their root, all themes are exactly the same. There's uncertainty. A person then reacts to that uncertainty by compulsively engaging in behaviors to try and control that uncertainty. It absolutely does not matter what behaviors the person is engaging in to control that behavior, whether they're external, there's something like checking. Somebody is afraid that they're going to leave the stove on, it's going to burn the house down, it's going to kill all of their neighbors, and they're going back to check, so an external compulsion. Or if that compulsion is internal, a person has a thought and they think they have to think other good thoughts in order to prevent somebody from getting hurt, prevent themselves from getting hurt, to just get through their day, to leave the house, whatever it is. Whether it's in your head or outside in the world, doesn't matter. At the core there's an uncertainty, there's fear of something bad happening because of that uncertainty. And then there's a reaction to try and cope with or check on or control that uncertainty. And so when people get caught up in themes, they start to focus more on the superficial symptoms instead of going after that underlying uncertainty. So we could say there's a part A to this, which is ignore themes, and then there's a part B, which is learn to tackle the underlying causes of OCD, learn to really embrace uncertainty in all of its forms, wherever you find it in your life. Often when we get into themes, we start to really focus down and believe that, oh, my own OCD or my anxiety disorders only affect this area of my life. They're only the things I do in this particular area involve OCD. But really, I'd encourage you to take a holistic approach to OCD and look at everything that's going on in your life, everything that's around you, because all of that is affecting your mental health. Okay? All of the decisions you're making right now, if you're dealing with a mental illness, all of that has led to where things are right now. So likewise, in recovery, you're gonna have to make changes throughout all of your life, not just in the areas you think are directly related to your OCD right now. So that's one reason right there. Of course, two, themes is people often notice when they do get into this idea of themes, they very quickly see that their so-called themes change all the time. They may deal with the symptoms in one area, and then very quickly the OCD pops up in another area of their life, and then they have to deal with that. And that's because really the OCD hasn't changed. That person has gone from being afraid of some uncertainty in one area of their life and trying to control it, to now being afraid of another uncertainty and trying to control it. They're doing the exact same thing. So I'd encourage you to take a step back. If you've been thinking, oh, I have this OCD theme and I have that OCD theme, take a step back. They're all the same. And in recovering from OCD and really tackling your OCD, it's going to help to see them as this sort of underlying fundamental unhealthy thought process. And so please take a holistic approach to your OCD, forget themes, and just learn to embrace that uncertainty and give it a big hug. So, you know, whatever week it is that you just watched this video in, please, throughout this week, give OCD big hugs, give uncertainty big hugs wherever you see it.